Hello and welcome once again to Wars Going On. I'm Mark Turris and we're here on the Forerunner server to bring you the latest in what's going on in Watcher of Realms. As ever, this is a community-based podcast, so please do remember to like, share, hype, subscribe, and spread the word about the podcast because it really does help grow the channel. Today, we're joined by Gohapao and Sebastian, and we're going to talk about state of the game, the impact of some of the changes we've had, have a look at the Halloween events, and go over the latest forerunner patch notes, which brings some nice things, and maybe have a quick chat about sort of the new heroes who have arrived in the game. So obviously Ezereth and Veliz. So welcome, Gohapao, and yes, I understand you're a long-time watcher, so it's nice to have you on as a member of the community.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think most people maybe don't know me, so I'll give you just a fast introduction. I am a content creator as well, but for mostly for a Brazilian community. So I do content in Portuguese. I think since the global release, I play since I think day 3 of the global release, and I'm also part of the Mad Clan since the first season of GVG. So yeah, I'm a very end game player of this game, and I create more content in Portuguese. I focus a lot in Immortal Codex for some time, but I really enjoy the game and the late game.
Excellent. So we generally start this off by going through the Forerunner patch notes. We'll just dive into those, and we'll take the discussions on from there. So this week we did get a patch. Quite a nice little thing. So a couple of nice little changes. So Dhalia, the limited ancient, the limited cultist who with the poison blooms and the sort of the Ingrid style attack range, has had a new faction added. She's joined the Esotericists, which kind of makes sense because they've got a very big poison build going on there now with Nestaya and Numera and Vaughn. So yeah, it's another poisoner in that team. So I think it's a good move. And obviously with the Esotericist lead, that's going to be cycling the ultimate very, very quickly.
Oh, I was just, it's like the esotericists need any more help. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the more factions some of the heroes that are affiliated, the more play that they may get. And this might also kind of, for some of us, maybe should put the antennas up a little bit, because this might mean that she might get a rerun here soon, or that we might see her as in a limited banner. So, there's a possible hint here that Dhalia might be coming around.
Yes, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. She doesn't get a rerun for such a long time, right? And her first awakening is actually very important for GVG when she's used for GVG. Her first awakening, I know a lot of people doesn't have her on their awaken one, so yeah, it'll be a good opportunity if they rerun her.
Just to remind myself of her A1, so here we go. So that's increased the number of Curse Blossoms required. The Thorn's Embrace is reduced by 1, so that's 2 instances reduces to 1. So as soon as there's 1 instance... Okay, so yeah, I vaguely remember this. It adds the block increase and the damage increase, so it just needs 1 next to it. And that's going to massively improve usability. But yeah, I mean,
so a little bit quicker. So I'm not using her a whole lot in GVG for that reason, because mine is still A0, still just the base. It was a very unlucky banner for me at that time, so I just don't use her right now. But if for any chance we do get her to A1, then I'll feel more comfortable about using her in that regard. But for everything else, she's fun to cheese the Araka stage in Void Rift, and that's pretty much it that I use her for. So
I mean, for me, her major problem is the fact that she's ground only, and I think that makes her problematic. But I mean, yeah, she's an interesting unit. I would like to be able to use her more, but yeah, mine is A02. So. Moving on.
Remember at that time when she came out and she had that extended range, and it's like, what are we gonna do with this? And then Ingrid popped.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Exactly.
that's it's fun times.
Yeah. Talin, one of our favorite units to moan about on this channel, is getting adjustments. So she's got basically she's able to cycle her cleanse effect faster. So instead of being every between 10 and 8, goes between every 9 and 7. So it just makes her cycle that a little bit faster. And this one is really, really big. So this gives her a lot of control potential. So Ground Stomp in Berserk Stance is guaranteed to trigger during the ultimate. So not only have you got a 4-block ground unit, platform units that's always coded as such, regardless of where she's placed, she's now got lots and lots of control. So that's going to have some impact. I think maybe in AoE Arena, she'll probably start popping up again, because one of the things I struggled when I was trying to run her was the inconsistency of the ground stomp. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the game. But I mean, she's not with Valara, etc. She's not really anywhere. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to see how it comes out.
And I wouldn't say we moan about her a whole lot. It's just that she is the classic example for us to bring up any problems that they have with coding, and the fact that there's some stuff that they can't fix, so they just say it in their kit that they're supposed to behave like that, and we know that it's not supposed to. And yeah, so but I don't know. I know that we're gonna talk about them later, but the whole summoning thing, I think, pretty much is gonna put all this stuff to the side with AoE Arena. So if people can use her for Plat 2, Plat 3, sure, okay, but I'm not sure that she's going to be useful for farming Apex coins.
No.
Also,
go ahead.
Just one thing very fast. I think I saw some people using her for Matrix as well, because we lack a lot of AoE physical damage units. So
yeah,
I have seen some teams that try to copy with her, but mine is way weaker, so I couldn't use her properly. But I mean, with this buff, I think she'll be way more viable for Matrix as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as with the right build, she can do some decent damage. Because obviously, whatever you're putting on her, you're only going to get 80. You're going to lose a lot of that because it gets converted into defense. So she's not going to hit as hard, but she's going to have this big AoE ground stomp. They've also adjusted her Thorn shield stacks per ultimate's gone from 2 to 4, and Awakened 5, she gets even more survive. She gets more penetration for every 1% of her Thorn shield, and that's the one that ticks up over time for after she's been deployed. So some interesting changes to her. I think it's overall, as you say, making her a bit more viable. And more interesting to use.
I think Gohapao hit it in the head, though. I think that they're just trying to increase their viability in this endgame stuff. And when we see little tweaks like this, that's essentially what they might be thinking, that might be helping the players get to that 40,000 chest, at least, if they're really struggling, to get there. So at least I imagine that this would be more for that bulwark. Is that the or the spellbane form? The purple one, right? So that would be, so that would be like, at least, let's expand that, or let's add more viability in that roster so people can push at least 20,000 or 40 or 30,000, whatever it is that they need to at least get to the first chest, or the second chest.
Yeah, and one thing is that her range is the perfect range for Matrix as well. We use a lot of weird units like Ardea, which is awesome for like multi-target damage, but her, her range is bad for Matrix Ardea, but Talin actually has a very good range, that open range, right? They can
Yeah.
hit the 3 lanes.
Yeah, anything that any of the units that can extend out and their CC or whatever damage type that they can deal extends out to all those waves that are coming from the bottom, so you can get to them quicker. Yeah, that will help out immensely. So, I mean, and it's going to take a little bit of testing for some, depending on the rosters that they have. But you know, if that increases her viability, I'm all for it. We crap on that. We crap on Talin a lot here, but
Yeah.
if there is a way to at least make her workable for some people, then yeah, I mean, there's we can't say anything bad about this change. So I'm all for it.
No. It looks like overall to be a good change. Quick fix on Preatus. They fixed his ultimate animation. Hadn't really spotted it, but I guess it was maybe activated, or it looked like he was activating all 5 of his casting runes when he didn't necessarily have them. But anyway, Beatrix, they fixed an issue. Try that again. They fixed an issue with Beatrix where her summon Dream Eater could use an incorrect counter under specific conditions. I love it when they're this vague because it doesn't help anybody. But I guess
I think I have seen a video from Corey talking about this. Is summoning the wrong amount of of their summons. I don't remember their name, but
right.
I think I've Dream Eaters, right? So I think I've seen a video from Corey that he was counting the Dream Eaters, and there was summoning less than what's supposed to summon. So maybe it's something
Okay.
like that, but they're very vague. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Huh.
They fixed an issue where Sythra, where her summon could use an incorrect counter under specific conditions. It sounds very similar to the above, but they didn't say anything about stopping her from ruining single target arena. So we'll hope they'll fix that in a future one. Adjustments. Okay, modified the mechanism of HP deduction effect that some heroes apply to allies. So I'm guessing this is to do with what's his name? the mage of the cultist faction who pulls everyone's health to pieces. Yeah.
Oh, Durza.
Durza, that's it. Sorry. When the target has a shield, the shield will be ignored and H will be deducted directly. So this is to stop people using someone like Vortex or Gwendolyn to put a massive shield on someone and then activate Durza's ultimate to provide survivability. I do remember back in the day someone was suggesting that as a strategy to me, but yeah, obviously this is a way of fixing that. And it will focus on taking the H. It will ignore the shield and reduce the health directly, but the shield will remain. And they fixed an issue where fatal damage immunity for Eirlys and Lili sometimes did not work correctly. Great! It now becomes even harder to beat teams with them on in GVG.
Who detected? It's like I never have encountered a Lili that did not trigger her revive. So was that in their special circumstances, or what was that about?
I don't know. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm
Maybe
not
it's
sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, so they fixed the drowsiness tag. Now, I know a lot of seriously endgame players have been complaining about this as being the hardest tag in the Malrik Halls. They've now changed it from changed the effect from permanent to 10 seconds. I have yet to encounter one. I've been slacking a bit on my Malrik runes because I didn't have Valara, who is one of the 2 big units who I picked up this weekend. So I'm now kind of working my way through my backlog of runes, but yeah, I've not encountered that one yet. Overall statistics in Malrik's Halls of Illusion. Now this is kind of no, it's not really that useful. It's the same information that you get in the guild bosses that tells you who's done the most damage. But I don't think anyone's really looking at the damage per second on or damage overall in this event, because it's it's not the same. It's not like a DPS track place. You do it because the runes are limited. So, yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense for boss content, not for like normal stages.
Yeah. One that's going to make a lot of people very happy is they've increased Trial Keystone's energy to 10 from 4. So I think this is good, actually, because it didn't seem like a lot, what's currently on global. And now having 10, you've got the opportunity to go in and mess it up twice, and you've still got lots of chances to pass this thing. So for me, I've tried to take on a stage today with Baron, and he just summons in a load of minions, and I haven't quite got the team composition right. So it's given me the opportunity to go away, think about it, and I've still got plenty of attempts to work on it. They've introduced auto fights, so if you've got a perfect team for your Keystone trials, or you're just feeling lazy, you can set your auto run team and it will work those. And they've added low-level Keystone storage. So you might have heard about Pete talking about this. So this is what it actually looks like, because I know there's a couple of photos circulating around on the net. So here we go. This is what it looks like. You now have up to 150 stones in 1 and 2. This will make Sebastian very happy, because he loves doing them about as much as I do. And then the high rarity ones, you've still got a capacity of 50, but they are separate. So now a total of 200 that you can have. And it's just the 150 low level ones.
Okay, so that's it for the changes on Malrik, right?
Yeah.
So let me go and okay. So I'm gonna phrase this to Gohapao being the mad player here. All right. So at least from everything in the background that I know of in terms of what players in the high level guilds and those that do want to make sure that they optimize the resource that we're getting here with the level 4 or level 5 Keystone, especially how the rate for these have changed because they're not dropping as frequently. Yes, they increased it from 5 to 10, but is that enough of a compromise from having it unlimited? This is where I have gone to, I think, in terms of my thought process with this, that I do think that this should be a resource that if players want to thoroughly optimize, they should have as many chances as they can to get the optimal result. I still don't think that 10 is enough, but I want to know what, like you, Arturo, said, I think that this is good enough. 10 chances should be enough to clear a Keystone. But I do want to know those that are trying to min-max things, if they do think the 10 is enough. And one of the things that you said here too, that they increase the capacity of the Keystone. So if you don't have the roster to clear a level 4 Keystone, you could probably just have it hang around for as long as he needs to until you get the 1 or 2 hero that might be able to allow you to clear it. But I don't know. I'm still gonna say that 10 is not enough. I don't know why they wanna even have a cap to this.
Yeah, in my opinion, just to be very honest, I like the 10, but mostly because I'm a very lazy player. I'm a kind of a little bit lazy, so yeah, 5 for me I think is a little bit low. I agree that I didn't like 5 a lot, but in the past when you had a way to do like infinite tries, I actually didn't do a lot because it would take a lot of time. But I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of people from my clan would actually try a lot of times their level 4, level 5 maps in the past. And of course 10 is actually very good. I think for me it's perfect 10, but I think for people that want to actually get every single resource possible in the game, I think it's actually low, because some level 4s, some level 5s are insanely hard and need some very specific teams, very specific strategies. So yeah, but for me, when I get one that is insanely hard, I usually try what I can get from this. What can me max the rewards from this? Of course, I won't finish it probably, but how can I me max the rewards? Oh, I'm happy with this run. I can just cash out. So I'm a little bit lazy side of mad, but I agree. But for me, 10 is good, but I agree more is could be best for harder maps.
Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to be like. That you go, okay, I this is as far as I can get in this stage. I'm happy with that. But I think what they really need to do to make that really good is to get rid of some of the lower level rewards that are available in the resource pool, because otherwise people get frustrated that they're doing these things and they're just getting one or two fragments of a one or two crafting fragments, and that is the thing that's an absolute joke. Is that they've added crafting fragments now, but the amount you get is just so insignificantly low that it's almost an insult, because you get more from doing a standard run of gear raid, and these take significantly more time because most of the time you can't auto them. So yeah, I think if they took out the low level rewards for the high level stages and it was just, I don't know, purple chests plus, then you've got more satisfaction of, okay, I haven't completed it, but I have got this number of purple chests, this number of gold chests. Yeah, I think I'll take my chances with the rewards on that.
Yeah, I agree a lot, because I have seen many times in the past screenshots of like level 4 yellows maps completely clear, and someone gets very unlucky with the rewards, and it's like, oh, it's not worth at all. Or sometimes level 4 reds or even higher, that the rewards are not worth the time, because the time you spend on that map. Sometimes you get level 4 red, which is really easy modifiers, and you get awesome rewards. Oh, amazing! But if you get a really hard one, you expect to have good rewards from it, and sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings up something up that we haven't discussed here on the podcast. So could you go to one of the keystones and at least just insert it, and so we can see what the chances are for something to come in? So go ahead and insert it, and then just look at the rewards there. So click on one of the chests. Let's say the red one, because
Okay,
that's the one that's
the red chest. So this is the one that you get from the goblin, the big goblin with the chest.
Yeah. Okay, so the one that I'm looking at in terms of the reward preview, it goes by levels. It says here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I think that the point still stands here. What I think that, given if you're gonna limit this in terms of the number of tries that we're gonna get here, and Gohapao to kind of hit it in the head here, is that there are different thresholds that we meet with each one of those keystones, right? So the at least one of the level 4s that I did, I think it had 10 different points of the 10 different waves, right? So I think that one way that we could improve this a little bit is that as you start progressing and getting to each one of those stages, so let's say you hit level 7, then the chance of you of getting mats or a potion or rare summoning crystals just drop or non-existent, and it starts leaning more towards the other rewards, right? So now you start getting greater chance of getting one, because I do agree with those that are that are running this, that are trying to optimize the level 4, the level 5, that if you are going to spend as much time to tackle something like drowsiness and trying to get through the RNG of that 10-second pause where you can't do anything, that at least at the end you know that you're going to get maybe an evolution gem, or what's the Darkfold gem, or what really everybody sometimes is shooting for is the transmutation gem on some of these ones. So if there is something that feels that it's going to be worth it to do it as many times to try to get that reward, then at least be able to say that. And that all goes again to displaying the rates. Let us know what are the possibilities that I'm going to get. Because as Go has said, if I know that within this 10 tries that I'm only going to get a 0.5% chance of doing a transmutation gem, then I'm not going to push the 10. But if for some people it's a 2% chance to get the transmutation gem and they want to run the key as many times as possible to get it to that endpoint and know that they're going to hit, or they're going to have a chance to hit it at 2%, for that person it might be worth it. So give them something that they can look towards and say, yes, it's going to be worth to run this thing multiple times. But maybe for some it might be like, I'm not going to make it to 10 if I only get a 0.5% chance at this. It's not going to be worth it for me. So there are different ways to try to approach this, I think. So yeah, so I think that if Goha is saying that, you know, for some players that don't want to invest a whole lot of time on this, that 10 is enough, that's fine. But at least give the player kind of perspective of how worth it is going to be to push 10 or make this unlimited, for example. So they kind of budged a little bit by increasing the energy cap, but I still think that there's still a lot of stuff here that needs to be resolved or optimized to make endgame players feel like this is going to be worth it. And in the long run, the rewards will dictate that. I'm just saying, I'm bringing this up mostly from the frustration level that I'm seeing from the endgame community. And I'm still seeing attrition. People are dropping because of stuff like this. So I understand it. And right now, October, November, December, it's going to be the period, I think, where all these new games are coming about that might just get the attention of other players, where they are going to be looking for something else if things don't improve like this one. So this is all, again, part of the discussion is how can we improve this? And hopefully the developers, there's a little bit more nudge or a little bit more room for them to improve this in the future.
Yeah, just while we're on Malrik, there's been some discussions, people saying that the Heart of the Volcano tiles are bugged. The only thing that's bugged about them is the fact that they don't drop. They run absolutely fine. 'Cause I was on Reddit the other day and so I was like, we're supposed to be getting a new map. It's like, yeah, they just didn't code it to drop in any of the gear raid stages. That's the bug. The stages that they gave out free to the Forerunner players work fine. I played them. They're not bad. They're very platform focused. So yeah, they're just not coded to drop anywhere.
Yeah, that was my understanding, because there was a call for content creators to cover the volcano map when the global patch rolled out. But from what I had heard is that they didn't code it in the global server patch. So they were not even there. They were not dropped. We didn't get the free ones. So to my understanding is, at least in global, the volcano are not available yet.
Well, they're not available on Forerunner to drop from any stage either. But they gave out like a half a dozen ones to play with, but yeah, nothing permanent.
Okay, so so when I was told that it was not coded, then that was both or all servers, I should say, because I don't think the Asian servers even got it, right? So so that was a big F up on their part.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not dropping even on Forerunner?
No.
Wow. That's crazy.
Right, so final ones. They added T3 drops to the random gear that you get from the bosses, which is okay, but it tends to be as bad as all of the other T2 gear that you get, so don't worry about it. Adding Gear recast Hammer Shards to Drake Chasms 3 and 4 to mix up the prize pool and dilute your chances of getting Soul Stones. Gear Dungeon 1 and 2 have been expanded with additional stages. These are worth a chat about in a moment. And all boss stages and hidden chamber stages of Tower of Deception have been updated with new tags. This will be in the Tower of Deception. So this will be in not this month, but next month. So probably be the December rotation when it comes to global. Yeah. So it's one of those things where they roll it out months in advance of actually telling anyone what's going to be. And by the time it comes out, everyone's forgotten. So gear dungeon changes. These are interesting. So gear dungeon 1, stage 11. I'll talk about stage 11, but 12 and 13 have got exactly the same feature. So now, and I'll just have one running in auto in background, is not as a background fine. What you'll see is that when the brood mother does her big AoE, which hits everybody, everyone's rage takes an absolute hammering, and this means it's a lot harder to get your units to cycle fast enough, and you're going to have to be looking in to bring in many rage boosters as you can, or come up with strategies which aren't rage dependent. I ended up going for a demi primary DPS because that was the only way I could get it to work in the end. But
okay, hold on. So you're running 11 here right now?
This is 11.
This is 11. Okay.
Yeah.
So could you take it off auto and then slow it down so we can see this rage minimus? Because you can back up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think there. So it just depletes rage, or does it reduce it by?
It reduces it by a certain amount.
I think it's
and
just
it just
like
makes
the boss from the Malrik, right? It's the same thing, it looks like.
Yeah. So here you go, Crimson Moon. You're going to see these rage bars drop massively. There you go. 3 hits, chunk. And it just makes it really difficult to manage unless you've got like as many rage boosters as you can going on.
Yeah, and also her AoE happens when the units are arriving at your defense. So yeah, it looks actually way harder.
Yeah, this is why I ended up with Demi as my primary DPS, because I could then get everything into a controlled area and it didn't matter too much. But yeah, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. I can imagine the stage 13 is going to be really hard. And the rewards for 13 I saw that are really good. So yeah, this is going to be interesting when it arrives at global as well.
Okay, so we go from 35 dungeon crystals to 55 when you farm each key. Okay. And I'm hoping that the drop rate for the ancient or these unidentified gear also increases, but probably not by much.
And I think you also get in the 13, you can drop level 4 maps as well. Level 4 runes.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, level 4, yep. Okay. So without rage, I would imagine that we're going to have to be more dependent on, well, you said rage boosters, but I think that this is where they were maybe getting annoyed that they were not using tanks on the bottom. So now they're going to ask us to do it. So we can slow things down a little, I guess, while we're trying to regenerate our rage. Or are we doing... What I mean, I see that you brought Val back to the bottom here.
Yeah,
but
it was just so I could get everyone into an anti-heal range, because up here they were just, I couldn't get enough rage to take. This is not working properly. But anyway, this strategy basically does work.
Well, it worked at that stage. I'm just thinking about how in in level, like 12, 13, because I imagine there's going to be more HP, more defense on this stuff, that
Yeah.
you're going to have to. This is all possibly all about the new heroes too, right? Because that's
Yeah.
exactly what this to do. It's
So
just
someone
more.
suggested that Ezereth might be good because as long as you can get them down to 35%, then obviously he can execute them. But I don't know because obviously you can't. You've got to get them into an anti-heal range to stop them from getting it. So you wouldn't be using Demi in that case. You'd probably be using Artemis so you've got that slightly wider range at the bottom, but then you've got to manage somewhere else with another anti-heal at the top. So yeah,
There's one thing.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking. Valara's probably going to be amazing as well because she doesn't in the Malrik boss. She doesn't get the rage reduction because she's invisible. So probably Valara will be huge as well. She
I'll have
probably
to give
can
that
avoid the.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a
If
play.
it works, the same.
But Demi is also invisible for most of the time, and she does get hit.
Ah, she gets? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it works different.
I'll have to give it a play. But yeah, I mean,
if you can time Valerius, because we go back and forth on this, actors, but the knockback is not considered a CC effect, right? You can still knock those psychophants
no
back,
displacement.
right?
No, you can't. They're displacement effects. Displacement is pushback, so you can't push them back. Well, you can push the bottom ones down, but you can't push the crowd of. So what are the enemies?
Okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
Map info.
So maybe she'd just be a damage dealer then in regard.
Yeah. So the skeleton archers come from there. The twisted sycophants are these guys over here and crop up from here. And then the banshees are the ones who come from this top corner up here. So the twisted sycophants, you can't push them back. You can push the banshees back, I think, but only once they've hit your tank. So yeah.
So in this dungeon, in Gear Dungeon 2, is that they just added the same effect then?
No, Gear Dungeon 2 is I haven't looked at, but it looks to be it's gonna really mess up people swapping units around. So this is a new thing called Blood Taint. We'll get into the linguistics of that another day. But anyway, so when Frenzied Blood Mistress is on the field, any unit that dies or retreats will leave behind a contamination on the ground that lasts for 80 seconds.
Oh,
come on.
It's kind of similar effect of the Malrik map that leaves a burning on the ground.
Yeah. So
yeah,
any
that's hard.
strategy that involved so the hex swapping to Hatzer is now gone. You're going to have to use a ground-based tile to take out that first clone because then it doesn't matter too much that they're not on the ground. Then but the difficult one is going to be the left lane, managing that. I think that's going to be the bit that's going to be the most difficult. The bottom lane is absolutely fine, but yeah, the left lane is going to be the one that's tricky.
Yes, because it changes, right, from physical to magical, so you need
Yeah.
different DPS. Yeah.
Whereas it's not too bad in the middle because there is enough time probably to cycle between that 80 seconds between the clones coming out. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't tried it yet. I took one look and it's like, yeah, I'm going to wait for a guide on that one.
I'm looking at the recommended heroes for Gear Dungeon 2 for this stage 13, and I'm
brother.
You're like, what? What are we talking about? Gun? Okay, all right. This is probably gonna just completely change later. I'm not seeing it, but
unless they've done something to the map. The map looks the same unless they're changing how it flows. I honestly can't see what they're going to do because they've already got the corrupted tiles going on.
I love that. So it was like Gear Dungeon 1. How are people beating it? Well, if you look at how most of the strats that are published is they bring in Laurel on the top to boost rage, or they're using something on the bottom to boost rage. So let's have the bus just completely take that out. And then for Gear Dungeon 2, all this swapping around going on. Oh, you know what? Let's add this effect to it so people can't swap stuff anymore. It's like they did exactly what everybody does to rely on the 9-10 stages. Just completely took it out for 11.
They've
12,
got
13,
rid of the exploding banshees though, so that's good.
They removed the exploding bunches. Well, thank you. Oh man. Okay, so I imagine that this is going to be it for Gear Dungeons for now, because I thought we were promised a whole new dungeon. I didn't think they were going to expand these stages.
Yeah, there was supposed to be like a Dig Dungeon 3 or a Gear Dungeon 4, because there's certainly within the files key designs that match that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But new stage. So everybody's probably going to see this in the November patch. So Forerunners gets about 2 weeks heads up to try to beat most of this stuff. So
yeah,
I haven't checked to see if it's in the test server, to be honest, but I imagine it will that it's not, because people would have been jumping on this already. But
I think everyone's still reeling with Matrix at the moment. So
oh yeah, that's the big thing right now. So
okay, well, I think that's actually a good point to move on to the next topic, and why we invited you along is to talk about things like Matrix and the impact that's having on the game, and whether you think that's a positive element.
Okay. So to set this up, so over the last 3 weeks, Arturus and I have kind of been discussing about how the Moonton developers have been approaching the game and how things have really changed in terms of their monetization practices and the banners that they've introduced, and now how there are specific heroes that are going to be coming to the pop light that possibly either A, make some type of content easier, or there's going to be the next hero that'll completely power creep the game. So for those of you that did not see my last video in my channel, I was talking about the introduction to the changes that they did to the banner when it comes to the Ancient Lords. And what they did is that they boosted the rate for the Lords that are considered exclusive for that banner, right? All the other ones that are overlapping with the Divine and the Invocation of Spirits, their rates were lower because we do have another way to make them to access them. And then they remove heroes that were overlapping on the normal pool. But the thing that I was saying is that there's still the elephant in the room, that there is no pity for the non-Lord exclusive ancient heroes. And so what I was kind of predicting was that any lords that are coming down the pipeline, that they are going to be very good at feeling one-ish in the game, especially at the end game. But if the next power creep, the next Valera, the next Ingrid, that completely changes the game, I'm going to predict that it's going to be within the non-exclusive pool. Those are going to be really hard to get your hands on, that you really need to be lucky, hit that 1%, and hit it right on. Get that one hero, like Arturus just did here with Valera, and then be able to then get the awakenings. So, Gohapao, when we were talking about, so in everything in terms of talking about the promise for the game and everything, that's exactly how we have been approaching it over the last couple of weeks, especially with changes to Malrik and how they're trying to develop the content, the accessibility, trying to get the high level keystones. and then everything that then goes according to this boss, to the Zerbus. Because my idea would have been, if they would properly have introduced this, it would have been to add features to the game that would then allow you to then catch up to this boss. And a comment from a viewer pretty much said it. It's like they could have expanded Pantheon, they could have added a gear slot, or they could have given us something that would make the heroes that we currently have a little bit more powerful. But instead, what happened is that we just got something that is so ramped up. It's like just the current roster of heroes that we have cannot catch up to it. So we have to try to optimize whatever we can. But we know that there is this next batch of heroes that are coming that will eventually allow you to get to that threshold, that 320 threshold between the two modes. So everything with how it has changed and the GBG landscape of how it has changed and how things are now just RNG dependent for that content in terms of just you getting the Demon Shoulders and the Captain Demon Shoulders so you can easily cruise through any defense. That the way that we've kind of seen the shift on this game is to drive that more of the end game players and make sure that they can really focus on and try to squeeze as much as they can. Then possibly down the line that focus on trying to bring in new players, which I really haven't seen that too much. But that is essentially it in terms of the feeling within the community and how I'm perceiving everything to be standing right now. That there's that fraction where it's like, maybe this is it. Maybe we've gotten what we need out of the game and it's time to move on. Otherwise, are like, okay, I'll just stick around and, yeah, sure, I'll spend $600 on trying to get this Lord to try to help me with this. But at some point, there's got to be a cutoff. So I don't know how the rest of the Mad Cluster is feeling in terms of the endgame content. But from your point of view, Gohapao, what do you think is good about the game right now and what's bad with all this stuff about soulstones and GBG Demon Shoulders and then this boss and anything else that you might think is affecting the game?
Okay, thanks a lot, Sebastian, for the introduction. And in my opinion, I think there's a lot of things we can talk about this specifically, but I think what's good. I'll focus first on what I think is good about what we have. The rewards from Matrix, I think, are amazing. Take for example, we had in global just two cycles for now, 2 weeks, right? So for example, in the first week, I think. Thinking about Apocalypse and Matrix together, I think I got like 8 or 9 ancient summons just from this content alone, from the 3 chests. So I mean, the rewards are amazing. The extra loot from killing the Matrix boss is amazing as well. We have seen the green rune, which is insanely rare to get from Malrik, is actually dropping quite a lot from the extra reward from the Matrix, actually killing the boss. So, for example, in the first week,
the guild has to kill it. The guild has to bring it down. So the first one, the first one that we got after we brought it down in my guild for the first time, everybody got a transmutation gem. So I think it might have been coded for the first time to be rewarded with it, but I imagine that in the subsequent tries here is going to be RNG, whether you're going to get that specific reward or not. But you've seen it 2 weeks in a row now.
Yes, in the first week everybody got a transmutation. Second week, not everybody.
Okay,
this is what happened in the Med. So probably will happen to everybody, probably. So yeah, I think the rewards are good. Even with I got like the 40k chest. I think I did 80k in the first week. I think in the first 2 weeks. So I got the 40k chest. I think the rewards are actually very good, and the rewards for killing the boss also is very good as well. So it's a new reward, right? So it's something like we didn't have before. So it's more resources for us, and actually very good resources. Like the transmutation gem is insanely rare, and we actually got. I think some people got from 2, like in the first and the second week. Some people got the transmutation gem. So I think the rewards are amazing, and there is something new. And it's actually I don't see it being very hard to push for 40k. That is like the rewards I'm getting right now. So I know some people in Meta are getting 100k, 120k. I think one or two are getting 120k, but the rewards are very good, and it's a new thing, right? So I think this is something very positive, and the fight I think it's kind of easy as well. I mean, it's like a AOE focused fight, which is also good because in the past, I think single target units are way more valuable because they had more content. You could use. There's a lot of boss content in the game. So finally, they released a boss content which focus on AOE units, and some units we got to see being used there. For example, Crash and other units we didn't see in the past are being used. And I also see a lot of potential for new AoE physical units they ever release because there's a lot. The roster for physical damage AoE is lacking a lot. So I think I think the content is actually very good, and and one thing that's kind of funny. Moontoon always release content, and after like a few months after releasing, they release like quality of life things. For example, the Mario thing we talked earlier, like they're bringing quality of life for this content. But for Matrix, I think it's actually very good on release because we can save like their gear for two teams, and also have the gear saved. So I actually think the quality of life for Matrix is actually good on release, which is very rare.
Well, I think that they learned from the mistakes that they made in the Titanic ruins, and at least when I was a little bit more active in Forerunners, we saw 2, 3 changes to it before it went to global, right, Arturos?
Yeah,
Because of
so there was the V1 map, which Global only saw as a remaining tile in the mini map for the overview. That was the first variant where it was nearly impossible to place ground units in any useful manner. And then there was a minor adjustment in whether there was an adjustment in the vulnerability state. So instead of being able to do 50% damage during the vulnerable state, it went down to 20%. Everyone thought it was going to be like a nerf to the boss, but actually they buffed the boss because it's now harder to do damage to him. In terms of the rate at which things spawn and the amount of time that the boss is currently down, Fastidious and Behemoth have shown that it's not possible to get anywhere near like the top chest at the moment. Just you can't get 160k in a single thing just because the battle is 7.5 minutes long, and the enemies aren't spawning fast enough and cycling fast enough to do the damage to the boss. So there are problems on it from that side, and that may be down to the fact that it was these chests were originally based on doing 50% damage in the vulnerable state, and we can't do that anymore. But yeah, it's got problems from that perspective for me. But yeah, those were the kind of the major changes that were made to Matrix since its release.
But going with Goha said is, it's easy to beat. But here, okay, so from a general player perspective is, okay, here are the things that we have to keep in mind. Number one, you have to be in a guild that has defeated Apocalypse 2. You have to have a roster in gear that can do a good amount of damage to Apocalypse 2. So when you get to the stage, when you have to gear 20 heroes separately, right? You have to have artifacts for each one of them. And you have to then make sure that you also have the roster to go with it. Because let's be honest, if you're gonna go into the Spellbane form without Nisa or Erlang or any of the big AoE physical damage dealers, you're gonna struggle. And Drellin is like another crutch that people are using for that form too. So it all takes into eventually getting into developing that account to get all these heroes and then getting the awakenings and everything. But it still goes to building within what you have. And I don't think that they really build within what they have right now. It's just like, no, you're going to be satisfied right now with 40, 100. And like Goha said, maybe somebody mad is hitting 120. But that's like, this is your limit right now. And then you're going to have to come in and chase everything else that we're giving you. So from that perspective, Goha, do you think that aspect is good for the game or not? Because I would have said it would have been for a Kraken account, maybe viable to get to the top chest, but then it gives them room to then release the next one, bring in Matrix 2, and now start working on that. But instead, it was like, no, we're going to give you the content as hard as possible, where it can't not even be reached with the current roster that you have. So you're going to have to live with what we give you in the future. Classic example right now could be Esor, but we'll see how much he pushes that content.
Yes. Yes, this is something I've been talking with the Brazilian community a lot. That I don't know what Montoon is aiming with this. I think there's a good and a bad side for this. I mean, I think there's a good side because you have some like an impossible goal that you maybe even for like mega cracking accounts, they can't push to the last reward. It's impossible for now. So you have a goal. Yeah, I think this is something that I think there's a good side on this because in the past I have seen people like spending like infinite amount of money in the game and like doing everything. I have exactly nothing to progress on. So now you have like an impossible goal. You have something to progress over time. So I think there's actually this is a good side of this, but the bad side is I don't know. I think the gap is so huge between what we can do right now with like the best accounts in the game and what is the best reward, like 320. So I mean, for me, I don't know what Mutum is aiming with this because it's not like releasing like 1 or 2 units. They need to release like a whole different roster of heroes for us to try to achieve this. This is like really impossible. So that's I think it's really hard for me to understand what they're aiming with this reward system because for me it doesn't make a lot of sense, you know.
Yeah, I think that's where Sebastian and I are coming from. It's like if we look at it from a defender point of view, so a defender has to be able to take the damage from his focus strike, and you by the third or fourth rotation, it's doing nearly 200k damage every 2 seconds, and we don't currently have any units in the game which can hold that up in a realistic fashion. Cyrus can kind of do it by exploiting his skeletons and getting them to take the hits rather than him. And you can do, and then using like someone like Eirlys or Carnelian to provide additional support to the defender so that they don't die. But to have a unit who can take that level of hits, or to have a healer who can heal through that level of hit, the impact on GVG is gonna be insane, because you're just gonna have these massive walls, and you're gonna be reliant on the Glacius teams to be able to freeze everything and walk through it, because you're not gonna be able to eat your way through it. You're gonna have to bypass it.
Yeah, and also I think the top scoring people that I know, they're reaching the time limit. They're reaching the end of the time of the fight. So I mean, it's so far away the point system right now, the reward system, that for me doesn't make sense. So I actually don't know what they're aiming for this, and I won't be surprised as well if they nerf the total health of the boss like they did with Abyss after the release, because I think only a few guilds are able to actually kill the boss right now. So I think they're probably going to do this because they did this in the past with Abyss 1. So yeah, I think this leans to a bad side, which is, I mean, you get like this huge account, or you have a developed account, and you can push, you're getting like 40k or even 8k on this content, which is can be frustrating for some people, right? Because you can't go far on this. So I think for Matrix, I think this can be like a good thing for, oh, I have something to progress on, and on the bad side, oh, I'm only getting like the second chest, which is for me maybe it's insane. I mean, for example, I'm in Mad, a very end game clan, and getting the second chest. This
Mm.
could be like, it's really hard to think about this. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? And I want to bring one thing that I think right now for me is being what I have seen the community, the end game community that I talk to. The most frustrating thing right now, I think, is the Demon Soldier chest from GVG. I think this is like the top on the list for most people. I have been seeing being negative about the game is a Demon's chest, which is insane. The drop rates are insane. I think they trying to put a band-aid on with the grotesque being a achievement in the game, right? For everybody to get a grotesque thing. For example, I didn't choose grotesque in the first time, so I only got the grotesque when they put the achievement in the game. But for
Second
the
one.
rest,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Mm.
And the rest, the new demon soldiers are all very strong. The demon captains are insane. The rewards are so hard to get the new demons. I don't have
Yeah.
the fire tank, which is looks very strong right now. I don't have it as well. So, and I'm missing the true new lords as well. I'm missing also the new Ember Fire as well. So I've seen a lot of negativity because, for example, I want to give this example from the Med perspective, because we from Med in the global server we got the rank 1 for 2 seasons in a row, right? With these new Demon Soldier chests. So we got, I think, 25 chests,
25. Yeah.
which is the max reward. And for example, I got 25 from last season, 25 from this season, almost max reward from Gauntlet. We're winning almost every match, so we're min-maxing the chests. And for example, I don't have any of the new Demons Lords, and a lot of people in Mad don't have them as well. And we opened probably the highest number of chests, and most of us don't have the new broken units. And this is bring a lot of frustration because we see like someone like level, I don't know, level 50 got both like glacials and then the fire lord, and it's just the guy opened like 10 chests. And I think RNG is good, but the way they made this is so bad, and I think most endgame players are being very mad about this.
Well,
Yeah.
if I can add, okay, so let me add on to this because I want to see if Gohapao agrees too. Is that everything at the beginning we were able to farm, so we know that we had, yeah, it was RNG to it, but at least we knew we were gonna get it. But now all these new demon soldiers are tied up to this very specific chest that you can only get in certain situations, right? And you do have to get really lucky to strike one of the new captain units. And you know, Goha, that at least for GBG, if you have a captain, you utilize them correctly, that you're most likely going to get 3 wins out of it, especially when things are set up right now.
Yes.
And not only that, when I was able to test the Ember Fire Templar in the test server and I started seeing what he was able to do, I started thinking to myself, this is a whole new shift. It's like the no healer strat is gone. Everything you're going to have to clump up together. So essentially it was like, we know that you rely on Lili and Carnelian for everything, but we're going to try to make all these other healers come into play. But unfortunately, if you use a healer to counter this, you're going to completely get devastated by other units. Again, RNG came to that. But here is the one thing that really upset me the most, because they made this fellow, along with the rats and that other unit, which people are not using it, but they made this fellow here available 2 weeks before the season wrapped in global. And for the last week, in our matchups, it came down to A, who had the most captain units, and B, who had the Templar. How many attacks could you do with the Templar to beat down all those defenses? So that added frustration to it because it was like the luckiest guild got to do better at the end. There was some short sightedness there. And again, I'm going to keep harping on this. When you are making something available that is based on RNG, let us know what the rates are for each one of these. I want to know what the rate is. So every time I open that chest of what I'm going to get, a captain unit or the Emberfire Templar or any other of the legendaries that are available in this game. And nothing in this game is telling you what the chances are. So is it 0.5% that I'm ever going to get the chaotic Captain Lord? Is it 1% that I'm gonna get for the Emberfire Templar? Do I need to save 100 chests, open it up all at the same time, and then try to get some sense of what the rates are? So I don't know. That's part of the frustration that I'm feeling and that I'm seeing within the community as well. So I don't know what has Matt been talking about when it comes to all of this.
So I have the perfect example to talk about this because the season 10 just finished, and we are looking at the win rates of the season. The season was very hard for attacking, right? So the win rates were kind of bad, like 50, 60, sometimes even negative, for like 40, 30% of win rate for most of the clan. And there was one person that had like insanely high win rate, like 70, 80%, I think 80% win rate. And that person had glaciers from the very start of the season. He already had glaciers, so his win rate was insanely high compared to all other members of the clan. So that's crazy. I mean, we are all, in Mad, we are all very late game accounts, all very strong accounts. But mostly for PB affiliation, we are not very far from each other, you know? So this person who had an insanely high win rates is all because of glaciers, because he had glaciers from the start of the season. He was winning a lot of attacks because of him. So if you think this in the perspective of end game players, he got lucky, he got glaciers, and because of that he's overperforming by a lot everybody. That's so bad. That makes another person that spends a lot of time planning attacks, doing attacks, who has like a 50% win rate, which and he's actually putting a lot of effort, and the other guy just got glaciers and he's automatically winning every single attack because glaciers is so broken. That's so frustrating, and I think in Mad there's a lot of frustration about this. I think this is the major point. I mean, Matrix, I think everybody kind of fine with it, but for Demon Chess, for GVG, they have such a huge impact. Like I said, the guy has insane win rate because he has glaciers. What this means from skills, from spending, from anything, this doesn't matter. The guy got glaciers and he's so good in GVG right now. So this is so I think is the major thing right now for us.
I'm gonna share something with you, Goha. Is that I got glaciers? I think there was 5 weeks left in the season when I got them, and to be honest with you, I found it eventually became a curse for me because once I got that captain unit, essentially what it was is since I'm a day 2 attacker, that they left me there, but it was pretty much I had three defenses that they told me to focus on because I had glaciers. And it was like, okay, go break the tower or break the keep, get it down, or just do the 3 attacks with glacier, get the win and get that percentage points. But it was auto. Every round, it was auto. You know, you have glaciers, go pick up those 3 wins. And then the other 2, pretty much it was left. It was like, go get that nasty Greed Valera combination, or there is something with Valera involved. So go get him and try to hopefully get it down. But if I were to take my percentage on just using the the composition of demon soldiers that did not include glaciers, I'm gonna say that I was easily 30% based on the matchups that we were going up against. So for me, it became stale. I didn't really have any content to create from it because it was like glaciers, just throw an auto, poop, you picked up the win. Perfect. And if I had the chaotic unit, I bet you it would be the same thing. You would just throw the chaotic unit, boom, you're gonna pick up a win. And that's what basically I realized Muntan pretty much broke GBG with this whole new system when it came to the demon soldiers, because it pretty made irrelevant all the other demon soldiers that we have farmed for in the past. Then
Exactly.
now it's really all reliant on whether we're gonna get the captain units or not.
Exactly, and this is a big deal if you think about Mad as well, because we always had the fame to be farming like insane amount of time for such a long time, and of course this had a huge impact, because I mean all the demonstrators we have, like there's people in Med with like X's level 12, 13, I don't know, like insane numbers, and they're useless right now, or X's which are insanely good in the past. So I mean this happens for almost every single unit in GVG. So it basically what it feels like, they changed GVG to completely luck based. I mean, there's also a PB affiliation, of course, there's other things, but luck right now is so huge for GVG, and that makes endgame players really unhappy, because it should be a skill based mode, right? Where you can use your very stacked account in the high end, right? Use very stacked account against older very stacked accounts, and you use your skills, your timings, your strategy to try to win. But luck right now has such a huge role in GVG that it's very frustrating for everybody, I think. Not only Mad, but I think most of the end game players, or like people that try to get top 32 for the end of the season. I think this is very frustrating. And you talking about something very important as well. They always have very bad timings on releases. Like they release a very broken unit 2 weeks before the end of the season. I think for us didn't made a lot of difference, but he's like, he could be compared to Glacius. He completely counters some teams, and he could make the difference, like you said, for a clan in the last 2 weeks. So I don't think they are thinking about this when they release a new unit. And also this luck that are impacting GVG right now is so bad, and it makes you think, why I'm doing this. And the attacks you said something very important as well. The attacks right now are all so easy, so it's the same attack we're doing for the entire season in the same defenses. So there's not a lot of creativity right now, and too much luck. So it's a recipe for a very bad environment for GVG right now.
Yeah, and like I have said in the previous episodes as well, is the staleness. Is the staleness in that feeling of things just getting stale right now in the game, and how they're running the game, that have really kind of turned me off from it. And I'm kind of focusing on other stuff now. And it's I don't know. Arturo still does his day-to-day stuff and his interaction with the game, as I think he's carried on. But for me, it takes a lot for me to say I'm gonna go and look for something else that I find a little bit more entertaining, because Watcher was it for me. I would have Watcher farming 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and then not only with this new demon soldier system, and then the energy restriction, the game is not open as often as it used to be. And okay, so some people are saying, well, you could do something like the zombie invasion if you wanted to. It's like, no. I mean, to run that over and over again, yeah, sure. For some people, it might be fun. For me, it isn't. I'm looking to get a little bit more interaction from it. GBG was the thing, and now unfortunately, it's just like auto and just watch and make sure the game doesn't screw it up for you. But this is kind of the my sentiment towards the game. I'm picking it up some from the community, but when I said to Arturos, go see if somebody has a different perspective, or see how they're feeling about the game, because I do want to know if this is just like me, or is it like there's a lot of people that are seeing the same red flags that I'm seeing. So, in a sense, I have to commend you because you do see some positives from it, but I think that you're seeing some of the same stuff that I'm seeing. And at the end, this is where I go for. If we lose the whales, the game is going to suffer. If we lose free to play players, the game is going to suffer. So, based on the numbers that I'm seeing, Muntan is having a hard time with retention, and they're eventually going to have to somehow make up for it. And by the time that they wake up, I think it'll be too late.
Yeah. This is probably a time to. We've been speaking now for over an hour, so we probably want to start thinking about how to wrap this up. I think in terms of points,
I would say just let Gohapao kind of put general thoughts together and let him wrap it up and say what did he feel good about it, and aside from all the other problems that he has highlighted, it's like what can we do to try to fix it, kind of a sense, and then we'll just let it go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thinking about everything, I think right now in the game, I feel actually very engaged. For example, when we talked about the new gear danger stages, I was thinking in my head, oh, how can I do this? How can I add these new stages that are in the game? So I really like new content, and they actually release new content in the game actually very often. And actually, I like this, and I'm very engaged with new stages. And so I think in this side, I think they're delivering, and Matrix is something new that's is the same as Senra. When Senra was released, I was having a blast for I don't know 2-3 months. I really enjoyed doing the fight. Of course, over the long time it gets boring, of course. But I mean, I think they're delivering a lot of content, and I'm actually engaged with this new content, new codex bosses. I think they don't deliver one for quite a while, but I think this is a very positive side. We are getting even more rewards for playing the game because of this new content, Tower Deception, etc. So we're getting more rewards from it, more summons. I think there's summonings. There's a whole another subject, but I think this is a good things that I see in the game. The content, actually for me, I'm really engaged and I really like, and I'm really looking forward. For example, these new Gear Dungeon stages to try to figure out. I like sometimes to be like one of the first people in the server, global server, to finish a new stage. I really like to try it. I did a few times. So I think this is a good side that we're getting a lot of new things that really, for me, it's really good. And the bad side, as we talked, I think GVG is at the worst it's ever been because of the changes they have done with this Demon Soldiers chests, and I don't know, the new map is not helping a lot as well because we're doing basically auto attacks. Every top guild is doing the same attack all over again. So the creativity from GVG is at the lowest, and the luck is at the highest. So I don't think this is a good moment for GVG, and also for Matrix. And now, one thing that's actually very interesting, they're releasing content that's kinda impossible. For example, the new Cultist stage, I think they're just changing forerunner. The
They have
Matrix,
done that.
they changed, right?
Yeah.
So they're releasing such a hard content that can make people don't feel really good about it. For Matrix rewards, for example, they're impossible. The Cultist new stage, the Tower of Deception. I think people just finished a Tower of Deception in global, but for the longest time nobody was finishing it. And of course, probably Valara helped a lot. Someone to finish the completely Tower of Deception rewards. I think some people in Russia just finished it in global this month for the first time. So they're
Still did it
releasing,
as well. Yeah.
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 So they're releasing content that people can't finish. So, or maybe we don't have the team to finish, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Matrix for example. So I think this is like the bad side for end game players. GVGs at the lowest. At the same time, the new content feel like they're not testing with the current roster like they did in the past, because we always were able to finish everything with what we had, and right now this is not what's happening, and this could be something bad in the eyes of many people. So I think for me this is the outlines what is good and the bad right now.
Cool. Sebastian, any final words before I wrap out the episode?
No, man, this is all. What Gohapao has been said is stuff that we talked about for the last month. It feels. I mean, he just pretty much hit it all in the head. And here's what I guess the way that I wrap it up is if you're feeling good and you're okay with the game as it is, then you keep playing it however you want. And in my stance, it's going to be I'm gonna keep playing it however I want. But there is that. For some, is getting to be that kind of lull, like it's a time. And I'm seeing more, at least from my interactions, I'm seeing more of that sentiment where it was maybe it's time to go. It's maybe time to go look at something else versus no, this is we're gonna go. We're GBG. Let's keep doing GBG. Arena. Oh, that's perfect content. So we'll keep grinding that out. I love the new stages that are coming about. I don't feel that excitement. Goha and I are thinking, yeah, we can try Gear Dungeon 11 through 13, see what we can get out of it. But for some, it might just be like, nah, everything else, all the other stuff is just too much to overcome with new stages like this. And that's what I'm more afraid for the game than anything else. Is all those players that just say, either I'm just going to disengage and be apathetic to everything, or be more of the everything is great, let's just keep grinding on it. And I think it's more of the other in the spectrum that we have right now. So let's just see what happens. Like I said, it's everything that they said in the developer review that is coming about is like, where is it? I'm not seeing it. I don't know what's the delays are about, but something changed. Something has changed here over the last in terms of how they're going to be, what the direction is for the game. So again, it's all about the threshold that some people are going to have is this is it. So it's a time to move on type of deal. And I'm telling you right now, too many games coming out the next 3 months that are going to possibly get some players to just go that way. And we'll see. We'll see if that leads to retention loss or not.
Just to circle back on the Cultist 15 stage. So yes, they have changed it on Forerunner. What they've done is they've removed the big eyes, the big floating creatures that come out, and they've kind of slowed down how frequently the enemies come out. They may have reduced the boss's health very, very fractionally, but overall it's still really, really hard content, and I beat it I think I beat it 2-star in the end, just because of the amount of chaos that's going on there. But yeah, with Ezereth and Veliz, I think I've got the tools now to 3-star that. I'm really not looking forward to do 18, but 16 I've completed, and it's pretty challenging. 17 looks to be just as challenging, but I just couldn't face it after fighting through the 2 stages I got through. But yeah, so they have made changes. They have made it slightly easier. It's still really hard. It's still about 20%, 30% harder than all of the other faction stages that are available so far. But yeah, we'll see how that pans out with the new units who have come out this weekend. So that's what's going on. I do have another guest lined up for next weekend, and we will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Goha.
Thanks a lot.